Ugh, what
Huh.
what time is it?
It's at a clock.
Where are we?
What?
No. Studio.
In the studio.
Isn't it?
What?
Isn't it showtime?
Ah, yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah, this is
Some-
something right.
Something's not right here.
Feels like I got hit by a truck.
You and me both, pal.
Yeah.
I feel like I got hit by a truck and then run over by a steamroller.
Yeah, this is not how we usually start a deep dive.
This is weird, even for us.
Yeah.
You okay to
Yeah.
do this?
Yeah, we don't have much choice.
No notes, no research, just
Phones are dead, no internet.
just whatever this is.
It feels this way, phone.
Feels a bit apocalyptic.
The phones are dead. There's no internet?
Yeah.
What is going on? And to make matters worse, my arm is killing me.
You hurt.
Something must have happened when we...
What happened?
Wait, do you even remember
I don't remember anything.
how we got here? No, I don't.
I don't either.
Last thing I remember was leaving the studio yesterday. And
Yeah.
then...
I vaguely remember packing up my stuff.
Yeah.
I remember it being dark. I remember thinking about what I wanted to have for dinner.
Maybe we should try and find the producers.
Yeah, maybe the producers.
Something's not adding up here.
Agreed. Let's
Something's not right.
grab the portable mics, document this whole thing.
Okay.
Just in case this turns out to be a really weird episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good idea.
And hold on.
Okay.
I need those bandages.
Bandages, good thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, mics are on.
All right, let's go explore it.
Bandages are in place. Let's go.
All right, but if this is a horror movie, we're totally those characters who split up and get picked off one by one.
You're not wrong. Okay, new plan. We stick together. Strength in numbers.
Fine by me.
Oh.
Okay, so we're in the hallway now.
Yeah.
And it is really dark.
It's eerily quiet.
Yeah, there are no lights on.
Yeah.
I think maybe the emergency lights are working.
Yeah.
But it is very dark.
It's like everyone just vanished.
This is seriously creepy.
It is.
Empty offices, no signs of life.
Yeah. What happened?
Where did everyone go?
Yeah, and what is with these doors?
What?
I can't get them open.
Let me try.
It's like they're blocked by
No way.
dirt.
It's solid.
dirt.
What in the world is going on?
I have no idea.
This is like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
What do we do?
We are completely cut off. What do we do now?
Wait. I think the internet just came back online. Let me try sending a message to the network, anyone who might be listening.
Yes, please hurry before it goes down again.
Got a response. Oh my God, they say the building has collapsed into a sinkhole. 911 has been called and they are sending help.
A sinkhole. Seriously. I can't believe this is happening. But thank goodness someone knows we were down here.
This is unbelievable.
Well, this is officially the most bizarre deep dive we've ever done. Talk about an unexpected turn of events.
Who knew we wouldn't need any source material for this one?
Right, it's like we're living the mystery.
You know, it really is ironic. We prepare ourselves to delve into all these different topics, and we never thought we would be plunged into the depths of the earth itself.
This is just crazy.
It really makes you think about the incredible power of nature.
Well, we have some time to kill. Maybe this is a good opportunity to talk about sinkholes. What do you say?
Sure, why not? If we're going to be trapped in one, might as well learn a thing or two about them. You know, while we wait for rescue, we could check out that ready.gov website.
Oh, yeah. Good idea. The one we always recommend for emergency preparedness.
Right. They might have some information about sinkholes. It's not just earthquakes and hurricanes.
Yeah, it covers all sorts of natural disasters, including geological events. And I guess you could say we're experiencing one firsthand right now.
Exactly. So it says here that sinkholes happen when underground rock formations dissolve or shift, creating a void in the Earth's surface.
Huh. So there's actually a geological reason why our studio is now a basement suite.
And they specifically mention areas like the Mississippi River Valley as being prone to these events.
Well, that's not comforting. But at least it's not some random fluke of nature.
Remember that earthquake safety at home tip sheet we saw the other day? I guess drop cover and hold on doesn't really apply when you're already well dropped.
Yeah, no kidding. So what should we be doing while we wait for rescue?
The most important thing is to stay calm. We are relatively safe down here, we have supplies, and help is on the way.
Okay, deep breaths. You are right, panicking won't help, but this is a pretty intense experience.
You are telling me the psychological impact of being trapped can be significant.
Well, at least we are together.
Yeah.
And thankfully, this studio has a roof escape hatch.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus. And look, I think those are sirens in the distance.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Help is almost here. This has been one wild ride.
You can say that again.
To our listeners, thank you for sticking with us through this very unusual deep dive. We never expected things to go quite like this.
This experience definitely puts things in perspective.
It makes you think about what really matters and how important it is to be prepared for the unexpected. Speaking of which, did you know that sinkholes can happen almost anywhere, even in places that aren't traditionally considered high risk?
That's right. It's a good reminder that we should all be aware of the potential hazards in our environment, even the hidden ones.
So while we wait for our rescuers, let's dive a little deeper into this topic. What can you tell us about the different types of sinkholes?
Well, there are actually two main types: cover collapse and cover subsidence.
Okay, those sound pretty technical. What's the difference?
Well, cover collapse sinkholes are the ones you probably picture when you think of a sinkhole. They happen suddenly and dramatically, like the one that swallowed our studio.
Right, like a scene from a disaster movie. So what causes them to collapse so quickly?
In cover collapse sinkholes, the bedrock underneath is covered by a layer of soil and clay. As the bedrock dissolves and creates a void, that overlying layer can stay intact for a while, kind of like a bridge. But eventually it gets too thin to support its own weight and it collapses all at once.
So there's no warning, just a sudden gaping hole in the ground.
Exactly. That's why they are so dangerous. You never know when or where one might form.
Okay, so what about those cover subsidence sinkholes? Do they happen more gradually?
Yes. Cover subsidence sinkholes tend to develop more slowly over time. In these cases, the overlying soil is sandy and porous, allowing it to gradually filter down into the void as the bedrock dissolves.
So instead of a sudden collapse, you'd see a gradual sinking or depression in the ground.
Exactly. It's like a slow motion version of a sinkhole.
Interesting. So we've talked about what causes sinkholes naturally, but are there any human activities that can make them more likely to happen?
Absolutely. Certain things we do can increase the risk of sinkholes, especially in areas with soluble bedrock.
Like what? Give us some examples.
One major factor is excessive groundwater pumping. When we draw too much water from underground aquifers, it can lower the water table, and that can actually destabilize the ground above.
So it's like we're removing the support system that was holding everything up.
That's a good way to put it. And another issue is poorly managed construction and development. Building heavy structures on unstable ground or disrupting natural drainage patterns can also contribute to sinkhole formation.
So it's not just about what we take out of the ground, but what we put on it too.
Exactly. And speaking of human activities, there's a fascinating example of a sinkhole that formed in Guatemala City back in 2010. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, the one that swallowed a 3-story building whole. It was all over the news.
That's the one. And it was a classic example of how human activities like leaking sewer pipes and heavy rainfall can contribute to sinkhole formation.
It's crazy to think that something like a leaky pipe could trigger such a massive event.
It is. And it highlights the interconnectedness of our infrastructure and the natural environment.
So it sounds like awareness is key. Knowing your local geology and being mindful of potential hazards. But are there any specific warning signs that people should look out for? I mean, besides a giant hole suddenly opening up beneath your feet.
Well, that is certainly the most dramatic sign. But you are right. There are often subtle clues that something might be amiss. Keep an eye out for things like cracks in the foundation of buildings, doors, and windows that stick for no reason, or even trees and fence posts tilting at odd angles.
It's like the ground is trying to tell us something's wrong.
Exactly. Those are all potential indicators of ground subsidence, which could be a precursor to a sinkhole.
So what should people do if they notice these signs?
It's best to call in the experts. A geotechnical engineer can assess the situation and determine if there's a real risk of a sinkhole. They can use ground-penetrating radar and other techniques to investigate what's happening below the surface.
Makes sense. It's better to be safe than sorry, especially when it comes to something as unpredictable as a sinkhole.
Absolutely.
Okay, so besides calling in a geologist every time we see a crack in the sidewalk, what are some practical steps we can take?
Well, the first step is awareness. If you live in an area prone to sinkholes, it's important to educate yourself about the risks and stay informed about any warnings issued by local authorities.
Right, knowledge is power. So let's say the worst happens and a sinkhole does occur. What's the process for dealing with the aftermath?
The response really depends on the size and location of the sinkhole. For smaller ones, it might be as simple as filling it in with dirt or gravel.
And what about those massive sinkholes, like the one that swallowed our studio? What happens then?
For those larger, more complex cases, things get a bit more complicated. You might need to bring in specialized engineers and construction crews to assess the damage and come up with a plan.
What kind of plan are we talking about?
Well, depending on the situation, it could involve a number of things. Sometimes they use a technique called grouting. where they inject a mixture of cement, sand, and water into the ground to fill the voids and stabilize the soil.
So it's like giving the ground a giant filling.
That's a good way to put it. And in other cases, they might use a technique called underpinning, which involves strengthening the foundation of a nearby structure by extending it down to a more stable layer of soil or rock.
So they are basically giving the building a deeper set of roots to anchor it to the ground.
Exactly. And sometimes, if the damage is too severe, the only option might be to demolish or relocate the affected structures altogether.
Wow, sounds like dealing with sinkholes can be a pretty major undertaking.
It definitely can be. But it's important to remember that these events, while scary, are a natural part of our planet's processes.
That's a good point. And as we've seen today, there's a lot we can do to understand, mitigate, and even prevent these events from happening.
Exactly. And I think that's a good note to end on.
I agree. This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive, even if it started in a slightly unconventional way.
To say the least. But I think it highlights the importance of staying curious, staying informed, and always being prepared for the unexpected.
Well said. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this rather unique journey. We're glad you're here with us, safe and sound, above ground.
And remember, knowledge is power. So keep exploring, keep learning, and stay safe out there.
Until next time, keep diving.